So I'm getting out to the Subaru Forester, and I already have it opened. So the first thing I do, it doesn't come into the garage. It might not even come into the garage if I don't need to, is I look for, it's been sitting here for hours. So if there's a saturation of refrigerant built up in the case of the, what we got there? We already got a saturation build up in the case. I could find it right away. So I got to put it on low speed and just kick it a little bit. And open the hood. You do your visuals. Now you know this is a Subaru, so you know automatically you change the O-rings. Whoa. I just hear that thing scream. I thought I heard one scream. Interesting. It's a Subaru, so you automatically change the O-rings on the compressors. You don't even question it, unless they've been changed, and you can find that out from the customer. The customer says it's never been done before. Don't look for rely on oil stains other than this one we do have. We're opening it up, and I do see oil stains, a little bit, old remnants. So you see, let me see if I can focus in there. Good and magnify. See that little bit of darkness? That was an oil stain that has been washed away basically by rain and everything like that. And the dust is left behind. So it's not wet, it's not really dark. Oh, I went off focus, sorry guys. But that right there was an oil stain. There, not so much so. But I can guarantee you, these are leaking. They get replaced. Do not have a comeback because you skipped that. It cannot be leaking now, and after you go through your entire recharge, it'll leak immediately after you finish, or a day or 3 days later, and you'll have an angry customer. Subaru intentionally and maliciously, with malice, purposely put too small of O-rings made out of material that after it gets a little old and hard and crunchy and is no longer elastic anymore and it shrinks up a little, they made it so it leaks, so it comes back in after warranty and maybe burn up a compressor and sell parts for their dealership chain. That is intentional. That is not on accident. They have known about this leaky O-ring system for decades, and they have done nothing about it. They keep producing cars that year after year, decade after decade has the same problem. This one's obvious. Boom, we're done. We got the one right there. We got a very rusty clutch, so do we have a very big gap? Boom, very big gap. You see that air going through? You see how I'm going back and forth right there? That's a huge gap. That'll cause intermittence, and you'll have excessive clutch slippage and excessive clutch wear because of that. So this clutch needs to be adjusted if the compressor is still good. And we'll find that out because you're changing the O-rings, right? So you're gonna have this open and you're gonna see if it looks burnt or not in the discharge. Should be no metal flake. It should be nice, clean oil, hopefully. Then that will give you the okay to adjust the clutch gap instead of replace the compressor. If compressors never run low on refrigerant, they don't run low on oil, they don't run low on cooling coming back to them, so they never wear out. And unless there's a manufacturer defect or flaw or something like that, you know, like a case seal leaking on a compressor is not the mechanical failure of the compressor. The loss of refrigerant that stops oil return and lack of cold refrigerant return causes the compressor to mechanically fail. So it's not that the compressor fails, it's the person who doesn't service it or keep on top of it. Oh, I noticed my dash is not so cool anymore, but I'm gonna ride it out another summer. Your compressor is screaming hot, and you are the cause of your failure. So we got that, we got those. There was some of these Foresters, if you look up the TSB, you'll see there's recalls on some of these things. Oh, there we go, look at right there. Now this is a Subaru I know well. When it leaks from there. You see the oil sitting there? We got everything. We got that leak, we got that leak, we got that leak. We got the classic heavy clutch gap. So let's say here's a scenario that'll cause you a comeback. If you are a young technician and you didn't know this can cause you a comeback, what happens is, Mr. Customer, you need these O-rings. You replace all these O-rings, you top it off, not top it off, god dang it, I'm speaking like the guys who use AC Pro. You completely fill it up by weight. See what you guys have done to me? You're corrupting me. Pretty soon you're gonna see me making videos holding cans of AC Pro, topping off cars. So you do everything correctly and it works perfectly. The customer takes it out. The field coil, the electricity is going through the field coil. It makes a magnet. It sucks in the clutch. It spins. It gets cold. 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, the customer's on a hot day. He's using it that weekend and it stops working, because once the metal gets hot and all the coil gets hot and the copper windings get hot, the resistance and their magnetic field goes down and it can no longer overcome that big old wide clutch gap. And the instant it satisfies, the thermostat says disconnect clutch, it disengages the clutch opens, and then the temperature goes up. Your pressure will go around 44 psi. Your temperature will go up to whatever temperature it's set at from the manufacturer, and it says, okay, close the contacts on the relay, shunt that power from the battery to the clutch coil, and let's energize it. It energizes it, but because of the wide gap and it's hot this time, when it goes to pull in, it doesn't pull in. Customer now has no cooling, and he's mad at you for just taking care of the leaks, but you didn't know about that. So take care of that. I still have to check inside. We don't know about the evaporator. Now, when it's like this, I get leery about condemning anything in an evaporator if I can't get access up through a port, a drain hole, somewhere where I can look at the evaporator or not. Got to look at the everything else too, the cabin filter and everything. If I can't physically see it and I still pick something up, suspect the evaporator, but that's why you have real sensitive refrigerant leak detector, like the Stratus D-Tech Infracon Stratus, because it's super sensitive. And so you can prove yourself by putting it on fresh air mode, opening up all the doors and windows, turning on the blower fan, cleaning out and clearing out the evaporator, and repeat your test on finding leaks coming up through the dash with a sensitive. Most leak detectors won't find the really small leaks. I found out when I go into many shops and I grab their leak detectors and I find a leak, what you just seen me found, their leak detectors will find nothing. And they always wonder why they keep missing leaks, or they don't even know they find leaks. The leaks they do find are big gushers, like, you know, a hole the size of a bus in the side of the Hoover Dam. So I'll be back after this one. Let's check out some more. I'm gonna hook up some sensors here. If there's refrigerant in it, we're gonna run it and we're gonna see what it looks like right now.